What's happening, guys? This is Adi from Thrylos International, and I'm here to do a reaction for our Champions League match, our 1-1 draw, gut-wrenching draw in extra time against PSV here. Champions League nights, European nights, and after a couple of hours, this is at the time of recording, it's a few hours after the final whistle. Had some time, a little bit of time to digest, kind of calm down a little bit after the result so that I could be able to talk and share my thoughts about what happened. And of course, before we get into that, everyone, don't forget, for those of you that are just tuning in, like and subscribe. Continue to help us grow the Red and White channel. We are approaching 8,000 subscribers on the channel. Help us break that milestone and help us continue to grow worldwide through this international and the community for Olympiacos. And as always, you can support us on Patreon. We thank all of our patrons for the support that they've given us so far. Every dollar that comes from you guys goes right back into the show. We use it to get data. We use it for various types of platforms that we can do analysis with. And of course, to fill with all the content that we provide on social media. So you can get extra content. You can join the WhatsApp group, which is probably the biggest draw, as well as the content tier. So check us out on patreon.com/307 International. The link is also in the description. Now, guys, let's just go right out and say it. Let's talk about the game. This was a heartbreaker for a lot of reasons. One, this was probably the best performance I've seen. And I know many of you agree with me. It was the best performance that we've seen on many fronts, probably all season. The press in particular. I mean, I haven't seen the press work like this at least since the last season, when we had the best defense in the Europa League, when we just took off with the league by the end of it in the second half of the season. It's the first time we've seen it function how it should. And there were many reasons for that, many reasons which I'll get into. But before this game started, I had shared on previous live shows how worried I was about this game. After having failed to get the 3 points against Bafos in that first Champions League match, nobody really in the right mind expected us to actually do anything away at Arsenal or away at Barcelona. You know, we had moments where we looked good. Of course, the officiating disaster that happened at Barcelona happened. But when we looked at our Champions League phase matches and who our opponents were, none of us believed we would get points from those two matches. We expected 3 points from Bafos. And then when we saw the PSV match, we all said, look, at home, we'd like a win, but a draw is probably the likely result. Going into the match with the recent form, I was worried. What we saw against Aris, how shaky the press had been against better competition in Greece, I didn't feel good. Now, of course, that was with the context of us seeing Santiago Eze and Danny Garcia next to each other. As you all remember, Santiago Eze got a red card wrongfully against Barcelona, of which he served the suspension. And we saw Jesus Mouzakitis start next to Danny Garcia today. The back four consisted of Francisco Ortega, Pirola on the left, Panos on the right. And then the surprise was Rodinei starting at right back. That was the surprise that really worried me, because we all know, first of all, Rodinei just recovered from an injury. And Rodinei at 100% is not exactly the best defender, if you get my meaning. Suspect at best, I would say, is his defensive performances for Olympiacos. He tends to perform better for us as a winger than he does as a fullback, but I digress. Podence on the left, Gelson Martins on the right, Chiquinho at the 10, El Kabi strikers. About what you expected, minus maybe Rodinei. And the team in action, okay, the first couple minutes, PSV came forward very quickly and got an opportunity. But then after that jolt, the team really just kicked into gear, guys. I mean, we stifled them. PSV, for those that were in the WhatsApp group, I talked about in transition how PSV likes to do the 2-3-5, I call it, where they try to create these overloads and they play a lot of balls up the middle. Our press trap beat them like a drum. We were stopping everything. By the end of the match, PSV only had 2 shots on goal. And until that goal at the very end, PSV had 0.17 XG for the whole match. 1 shot on target all match until extra time. That was their best scoring opportunity of the night. Unfortunately, it was the equalizer. Olympiacos had multiple opportunities. According to SofaScore, we had 18 shots on target for the match. 18 shots, not on target. Of those 18 shots, only 5 were on target, but 18 shots for the match. The goal, a screamer from Gelson Martins. Man, what a shot that was. What a shot. I really, when that goal went in, especially after seeing how great the press was working, I really believe that, man, this is it. Mendiball, this is proper Mendiball. It is back. We figured out what we needed to do. Mouzakitis, Danny Garcia, more so Mouzakitis played extremely well. Mouzakitis played out of his mind. 18 years old, and that kid was the reason we looked so fluid in transition. I mean, when he had the ball, he was unstoppable. And then even behind the ball, the kid was defensively winning all over the place, doing what we normally would expect Santiago Eze would do. Unbelievable. 18 years old. And up until this point, we're wondering why this kid's not first name in the starting lineup. We have to suffer through Santiago Eze, Danny Garcia, and struggling in all these matches when Thrylos Mouzakitis was the answer. Yeah, I know some of you don't believe he had a great match against Aris, but you saw even at his worst what he offers against Aris. Today, for me, cemented it. If Thrylos Mouzakitis isn't the first name on that team sheet every week, as long as he's healthy and fit, we've got problems. We've got serious problems. The front line, I mean, Gelson Martins and Daniel Podence. I already talked about Gelson Martins' beautiful shot, but him and Daniel Podence today, whew. Thrylos Mouzakitis was the guy in the midfield, but these two were causing all sorts of problems for PSV on the wings. They could not stop them. They had no answer. And Daniel Podence, I think I saw more defensive work from Podence today than ever in his career. Anytime he's played for Olympiacos. I looked at the stats at the end of the game. Podence won 12 ground duels, 12 defensive duel wins. I could not find a single match in his time at Olympiacos where he did that. The single best defensive performance by Daniel Podence in an Olympiacos shirt. Better than anything in the conference run. Better than anything we've seen. Recoveries. I mean, Daniel Podence played how we would expect other wingers to play, like a Masuras, a Monivis, even a Strefezza on the defensive side of things. Tracking back, I did not recognize Podence out there. Going forward offensively, sure, maybe he didn't materialize a lot, but defensively, this guy he did everything. Gelson Martins, he was like Ronaldinho today against PSV. They couldn't stop him. Probably some of the best wing play we've seen from Gelson Martins also for us in his career. Definitely a lot closer to the last year Gelson Martins that was our second best goal contributor after Ayub Al-Kabi. Incredible from those guys. And then, of course, we can't forget Lorenzo Pirola today. Lorenzo Pirola getting his body in front of so many things, breaking up extremely dangerous transitions by PSV, just getting his body in front of the ball, cutting people off. Francisco Ortega also having a pretty decent game today, all things considered. Even Mendiball, look, I didn't like the Rodinei start, and Rodinei did get some pressure, which scared the crap out of me early on. But Mendiball had the right recipe. First half especially. Second half, I think things were still going our way. You know, Mendiball can't go on the field and score these goals for these guys. Mendiball can't tell them to make better decisions in the final third. I mean, we had some shocking decisions made by some of our guys. Ayoub El-Kabi, Mehdi Taremi when he got subbed on. Terrible decisions that stifled what would have been extremely dangerous odd man counters or odd man transitions or simple passes in the penalty area to the guy next to you that would have led to a goal for sure. The opportunities were created. The system, the tactics were clear. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't put that blame on Mendiball. What we began maybe to lose it on was the substitutions. Mendiball made the first substitution out of necessity. Danny Garcia was hurt. He came off injured, 63rd minute, and he brings on Diogo Nascimento. Now, some people thought maybe Diogo Nascimento wasn't the best choice for you to bring on. Maybe you tried to bring on somebody else, or maybe my thought was he would drop Chiquinho back into the deeper position and then play Diogo Nascimento further forward. Didn't necessarily do that, but I don't think Diogo Nascimento had a bad game from the time he came on. We all know that he can't do certain things, but I thought he was all right getting the ball, moving it around. He had a lot of effort there, just wasn't super effective. But again, if Diogo Nascimento was the choice for the midfield sub there at that first instance, I wouldn't have played him further back. I would have made sure he was further forward, and I would have put Chiquinho back. We all know Chiquinho can play as an 8. When he first came to the club, we brought him in as an 8. I would have preferred to see that more so. Or if Danny Garcia came out, I would also maybe have preferred to put in, I would have preferred to try to find a way to bring in somebody like Strefezza or even a winger, somebody else with fresh legs that could run around. But anyway, that's besides the point. Diogo Nascimento came on, and he exerted the effort. Then came the next sub. Chiquinho is brought out, and we bring on Mehdi Taremi. Mehdi Taremi, he comes on, and the poor guy just never could figure it out. He from one of the there was a transition where all he had to do was lay the ball off for a shot, for an easy shot. I think Mouzakitis was yelling at him at one point, and he didn't do it. The poor guy came out and just wasn't there. I don't know. He didn't look right. He didn't look like he was completely fit. Ended up being a terrible substitution. Perhaps it would have been better if we had played Yaremchuk, Roman Yaremchuk at this instance. Don't know. But that substitution didn't work out at all. Then we had a double sub. Our third and final substitution. Instead of using all 3 subs that were left, we only used 2. We subbed out Daniel Podence. We subbed out Ayoub El-Kabi. We brought on Lorenzo Scipioni to help pack in the midfield. And then we brought on Costinha. But instead of removing Rodinei, we took out Podence, and we had Costinha and Rodinei there on the wing. Rodinei, who was dead tired, who's just recovered. He's just recovered from an injury, and we have him out here on a Champions League night, and the guy, by the end of it, can barely move. That final substitution, if I were Mendiball, I would have brought on somebody else. I would have taken off Rodinei. You had other wingers on the bench. Okay, fine. Stavros Penavonidis, you didn't want him in Champions League. It's too high pressure for him. Maybe he doesn't offer. He's too slow. Doesn't offer what you want. Fine, I understand that. But Strefezza, you want to close the game out. Your best pressing winger for the moment is Gabriel Strefezza. The most interceptions per 90 of all of our forwards, of all of our front line, and the most ball recoveries per 90 from our front line. If you wanted to close the game out from a pressing standpoint, why didn't you bring the fresh pair of legs, Gabriel Strefezza? The guy gets the ball. Okay, he can't dribble and beat people one-on-one, but he can short play crosses into the forward to make the Taremi, and they're pretty accurate too. Almost as accurate as Costinha's. Why not use that third sub? That doesn't make any sense to me. Doesn't make any sense at all. You had guys on the field there that were tired. And in the end, this is going to be the discussion. Was the choice to bring in Diogo Nascimento the smart one? Was it the only one you could have made first? And should we have brought on Roman Yaremchuk instead of Mehdi Taremi? And should we have used the fifth sub that we didn't use? These are the questions that are going to be asked. Now, look, in the end, I'm going to say this. We were the better team. For the first time this season in Champions League, for almost all of the game, or a large portion of the majority of the game, we were the better side. We created more chances. We were the more threatening team. This is football. It's unjust. It's how it is sometimes, guys. I'm sorry. You have to put away your chances. We had so many chances to get that second goal, and we didn't do it. Some of you I saw blaming Tzolakis, who I haven't touched on yet. I disagree entirely with some of the venom that has been going towards the way of Tzolakis. There was some information earlier today, even from our sources, that Tzolakis was not feeling well, and that things were done to make sure that he could at least be functional for the game. It was never officially confirmed whether he was sick or not, but something was off about Tzolakis today. I mean, look, this season, he's had his issues here and there, right? The way he comes out, how aggressive he comes out. But today, he just mistimed everything. I was doing the live tweets for the match, and multiple one. I was going back through them today before I did the recording, and so many. Tzolakis mistimes, and he misses the ball coming out. He mistimes this dangerous chance for PSV because Tzolakis mistimed the jump again. Something was off with him today. Almost every single situation that was near 50-50 or contested, he mistimed and then even there was one, he comes out to collect the cross and he drops it, but thank God he caught it. And he had the PSV player right in front of him. He was off today. Him and Rodinei today were the two that absolutely scared the living daylights out of me. They scared me today. And then the goal that comes. Some of you were blaming Tzolakis that last year's Kostas Tzolakis saved that goal. Maybe you're right. But the series of events that occurred that led to that goal were unfortunate to begin with. Costinha gets in front of, first, it was a bad foul from Mouzakitis, a pretty, reckless one. And he gives up the foul there. They play the ball in. Costinha looks like he gets in front and just gets his foot on it instead of the forward for PSV. But the deflection goes just inside perfectly to the only other PSV player in the box. He gets it and he scores right there. I was stressing about those subs. And the reason you heard me a few minutes ago talking about that is because my belief is the extra sub, one of the extra subs, or perhaps maybe more of the correct sub, prevents the sequence of events that occurs that leads to that goal. Maybe. Those are the only things that we can talk about. Maybe that would be the case. But in the end, we now have 2 points in Champions League in the league phase, which is not where we wanted to be. We wanted to have 4 points by now. We'll see how the rest of the results go, but right now it looks like we will still be only 1 point out of 24th, which is okay. It's not, we're not panicking too much yet, but we have 4 games to go. We have Real Madrid coming up. We have Bayer Leverkusen, Kairat at the end, and then of course we have Ajax. Not in that exact sequence. I'm just putting out the matches that we have. 10 points last season is what got you knockout football. Maybe this year it could be 9. the way things are shaking out. It looks like it might be 9. We need to at least get 2 wins in the next 4 games to have a shot in hell of getting to the knockouts. We need 2 wins. Ajax doesn't look good right now. Bayer Leverkusen doesn't look good right now. And Kairat, of course, is Kairat. If we really want to get this done, we have to find a way to get 3 wins. When was the last time we got 3 wins in Champions League in a group stage? It's been a little while. I'll just say that much. It's going to be tough, guys. It's going to be tough. I know a lot of people were defeated, complaining about the roster, complaining about this. I don't know if it's a silver lining, but the fact that we were the better team this match proves that we deserve to be here. We can compete with good teams. This PSV team is no joke. Remember, they beat Napoli 6-1. They are not doing half bad. Dutch champions, they were not doing half bad in Champions League so far before today. And we held them. Not only did we hold them to a single goal, we held them to nothing until extra time. My hope is that this is the point that, just like last season, this is the point that things turn for the better for Mendiball. Remember, guys, and I brought this up to the patrons multiple times. Last season, remember the Europa League group stage? We were at the last couple games of the season. We only had 8 points. We were talking about, man, guys, there's a very good chance we could not make knockout football because we only had 8 points and we knew we needed 10 for knockout football in the Europa League last season. We were worried. We had Porto. We ended up getting our first ever win in Porto Stadium, in the Stadio Dragao. We get that win, and then we beat Karabakh. We go from worrying about not making knockout football to being in the top 8 and getting round of 16 guaranteed. So it's not over yet. I am the only person on the show that was confident we are making knockout football. Now, while that result wasn't great, the way we played today still makes me think, although obviously I'm not as confident as I was before, I still believe, especially the way we played today, if we can play this way the rest of the matches, I still believe we get knockout football. I still believe we can do it. Maybe Mendiball cooks up a miracle against Real Madrid. Even a point against Real Madrid is something. Even a point against Real Madrid would help us. So we'll see what happens. But my hope is that the team takes the positives from this and realizes that they can play with these guys. Between the cup game against Volos and this, it's proof that we can play ball, that there is a recipe for success in Mendiball's system. It's just a shame that we had to go through the same mistakes and the same nonsense we went through last season to get there. That is frustrating. I'll admit it. But we have a recipe for that success. We know what we should and should not be doing. Some of the lessons I've learned here, the big major lesson, Mouzakitis needs to be in that midfield. Whether he's having a good or bad game, he needs to be in that midfield. Whether he's paired with Danny Garcia, whether he's paired with Santiago Eze, he needs to be in that midfield to give us balance and to help us move the ball and progress the ball. Mouzakitis is not the fastest kid. He's not. But his technical ability and his ability to read the game, his vision that he has in that central midfield area is so important. I really hope, and I beg and plead to Jose Luis Mendiball, please do not keep this kid on the bench. Do not. He knows what it means to wear the shirt. He understands how heavy it is. And he's the most talented midfielder we have right now. You cannot afford to bench this guy. It is not a discussion. There's a couple other things we need to work on moving forward. Ayoub El Kaabi Amazing in the press, but also quite tragic today in his finishing. He is one, especially as Roman Yaremchuk gets more and more healthy. I am okay with benching him in certain games, especially in Greece. His finishing is cooling. We also need to give him a rest. This guy cannot keep this up. He's only getting older. Guys like him and Santiago Eze, we can't just keep running them into the ground. Need to give them breaks. We have a couple of games coming up. I believe we have Kifisia. I think we have Atromitos coming up too. So the things here, we need to learn the lessons, take the lessons that we've seen, and just roll with them. Let's let this be the turning point, so we're not frustrated in every match that we watch with Olympiacos. The recipe for success is not changing Mendiball's tactics. Not that he would do it anyway. It's Mendiball, but it's the player personnel. We have the right players to play and unlock teams. They just need to be used. That's it. And maybe brought on as substitutes a little bit earlier. But all in all, well, I know all of you are super frustrated, and I'll repeat this again. The disappointment is that we should have beaten Pafos, not necessarily the game today. Most of us expected a draw today. The circumstances, of course, are disappointing. We should have won this game. We were the better team. But the big disappointment is still Pafos. Should have won that game, and we would be in a much better position today. I hope this is the turning point, and I hope all these lessons continue to be learned and heeded by Jose Luis Mendilibar. We'll see what happens moving forward. We're going to monitor the injuries, of course. We'll continue to share with you guys the news about what's going on with the team and what's going on with everything around it. But this is where we are. We have to take it game by game and remember what our goals are. Remember which players in which positions offer which things. The recipe for success in this system is here. We have the pieces. We have the resources to do it. If you can take comfort in anything, it's knowing that. We know now we have multiple points, multiple data points that prove that that's the case. It's up to Mendilibar to continue to use them and to continue to give us that football and to continue to see this so that we can not only win the title again, but win the double and see Champions League knockout football. Try to see the positive things, because this could have been another terrible game. This could have been a blowout, which many of us were expecting. Many people were worried this is going to be 4-0. They're going to destroy us like Napoli, but it didn't happen. We deserve to be in Champions League. We deserve to compete because we have the quality to do so. Have some faith. I still believe that we will get knockout football in the end, even as depressing as this is, even as disappointing as that extra time goal was. I'm Adi. This is Thrylos International. By the fans, for the fans. We'll see you all next time. If you guys want to continue to talk about it, you have more questions, you know where to reach out to me. You can find me on all socials, X, Instagram, Facebook, at Aristides06, or you can just message us on the pod account, and I'll be there as well, at 307 International. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and we will see you all next time.